নয়নেরা। Everyone loudly. হরি হরি বলিতে নয়নে ভাবে নীরা। আর কবে নিতাই চান করুণা হইবে, সংসার বাসনা মোর কবে তুচ্ছ হবে। আর কবে নিতাই চান করুণা হইবে, সংসার বাসনা মোর কবে তুচ্ছ হবে। বিষয়া ছাড়িয়া কবে শুদ্ধ হবে মন, কবে হাম হেরাব শ্রী বৃন্দাবন। বিষয়া ছাড়িয়া কবে শুদ্ধ হবে মন, কবে হাম হেরাব শ্রী বৃন্দাবন। গৌরাঙ্গ বলিতে হবে পুলক শরীরা, হরি হরি বলিতে নয়নে ভাবে নীরা। Everyone. বিষয়া ছাড়িয়া কবে শুদ্ধ হবে মন, কবে হাম হেরাব শ্রী বৃন্দাবন। কবে হাম হেরাব Shri Vrindavana. Rupa Raghunatha Pade হইবে আকুতি কবে হামা বুঝাবো সে যুগল পিরিতি রূপা রঘুনাথ পদে হইবে আকুতি কবে হাম বুঝাবো সে যুগল পিরিতি রূপা রঘুনাথ পদে রাহু মোর আশা প্রার্থনা করায়ে সদা নরোত্তম দাস রূপা রঘুনাথ পদে প্রভু মোর আশা প্রার্থনা করায়ে সদা নরোত্তম দাস everyone গৌরাঙ্গ বলিতে হবে পুলক শরীরা হরি হরি বলিতে নয়নে বাবে নীরা বিষয়া ছাড়িয়া কবে সুধা হবে মনা কবে হাম বুঝাবো সে যুগল পিরিতে গৌরাঙ্গ বলিতে হবে পুলক শরীরা হরি হরি বলিতে নয়নে বাবে নীরা হরি হরি বলিতে নয়নে বাবে নীরা শ্রী গৌরাঙ্গ মহাপ্রভু কে ওম নমো ভগবতে বাসুদেবায় Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanang Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye. Reading, reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, Chapter 6, Text 254 and 255. Because 254 doesn't have a purport, we will take both the verses. We'll recite the verses. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Siksharthameka Purusha Purana. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sariradhari Kripam Budhiryastamaham Prapadye. Kalanashtam Bhakti Yogam Nijam Ya Praduskartum Krishna Chaitanya Nama Abhirbhutastasya Padarvinde Gadham Gadham Liyatam Chitta Bhringaha. Please recite. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Siksharthameka Purusha Purana. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sariradhari Kripa Vridhiyastamaham Prapadye. Kalanashtam Bhakti Yogam Nijam Ya Pradushakartum Krishna Chaitanya Nama Abhirbhutastasya Padarvinde Gadham Gadham Liyatam Chitta Bhringa. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga शिक्षार्थमेका पुरुषा पुराणा श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीरधारी कृपाम्बुधिर्यस्तमहं प्रपद्ये कालानष्टां भक्तियोगं निजम्य प्रादुष्कर्तुं कृष्ण चैतन्य नामा आविर्भूतस्तस्य पदारविन्दे गाढ़ं गाढ़ं लियतां चित्तभृङ्ग वैष्णवीस् वैराग्य विद्या निज भक्ति योगा शिक्षार्थमिका पुरुषा पुराणा श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीरधारी कृपाम्बुधिर्यस्तमहं प्रपद्ये कालानष्टां भक्तियोगं निजम्य प्रादुष्कर्तुं कृष्ण चैतन्य नामा आविर्भूतस्तस्य पदारविन्दे गाढ़ं गाढ़ं लियतां चित्तभृङ्ग वैराग्य विद्या भक्ति योगा शिक्षार्थमेका पुरुषा पुराणा श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीरधारी कृपाम्बुधिर्यस्तमहं प्रपद्ये कालानष्टं भक्तियोगं निजम्य प्रादुष्कर्तुं कृष्ण चैतन्य नामा आविर्भूतस्तस्य पदारविन्दे गाढ़ं गाढ़ं लियतां चित्तभृङ्ग word to word translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vairagya, detachment from everything that does not help develop Krishna consciousness. Vidya, knowledge. Nija, own. Bhakti yoga, devotional service. Sikshartham, just to instruct. Ekaha, the single person. Purushaha, the supreme person. Puranaha, very old or eternal. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, of Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sariradhari, accepting the body. Kripam Buddhi, the ocean of transcendental mercy. Yaha, who, tam, unto him, aham, I, prapadye, surrender. Kalat, from misuse of material propensities and attachment to fruitive activities and speculative knowledge over the course of time. Nastam, destroyed. Bhakti yogam, the science of devotional service, Nijam, which is applicable to him only, Yaha, one who, Praduskartum, to revive, Krishna Chaitanya Nama, named Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Abhirbhutaha, who has appeared, Tasya, his Padaravinde, in the lotus feet, Gadham Gadham, very deeply, Liyatam, let it be merged, Chitta Bhringaha, my consciousness like a honeybee. Translation. Let me take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna, who has descended in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach us real knowledge, his devotional service, and detachment from whatever does not foster Krishna consciousness. He has descended because he is an ocean of transcendental mercy. Let me surrender unto his lotus feet. Let my consciousness, which is like a honeybee, take shelter of the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has just now appeared as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach the ancient system of devotional service to himself. This system had almost been lost due to the influence of time. Purport. As Lord Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita 4.7, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata apyutthana mahadharnasya tadatmanam shujamaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. This is also the case with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in this world as a disguised incarnation of Krishna, but his appearance is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, the Mahabharata, and other Vedic literatures. He appeared in order to teach the fallen souls in this material world, for in this age of Kali, almost everyone has become attached to fruitive and ritualistic activities and mental speculation. Consequently, there was a great need to revive the system of devotional service. The Lord himself personally came down, disguised as a devotee, so that the fallen populace might take advantage of the Lord's example. At the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna advised complete surrender unto him, promising all protection to his devotee. Unfortunately, people are so fallen that they cannot accept the instructions of Lord Krishna. Therefore, Krishna returned with the same mission, but he executed it in a different way. As Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he ordered us to surrender unto himself, but as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he taught us how to surrender to Krishna. Therefore, he is praised by Goswamis, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Lord Shri Krishna is certainly the personality of Godhead, but he is not as magnanimous as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Krishna simply gave orders for one to become his devotees. Manmana bhavamad bhakto. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually taught the process of Krishna consciousness. If one wants to become a devotee of Krishna, he must first take shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, following in the footsteps of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and other exalted devotees. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Nilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Padantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya De Satarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Taruvasya Kripa Sindhu Vya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnamebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. I welcome each one of you for Gaur Purnima festival. Hare Krishna. I seek all of your blessings for speaking something on the glories of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu based on the instruction that is just now given to me. I got the instruction to give class in the morning, and I got just now the instruction what to give in the class. I hope something will happen in the class. Hare Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada explains in this purport beautifully that what is actually the blessing, the gift that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. Until and unless we understand the gift of a person, we will not understand the glory of that person. Sometimes we may get a diamond and we may keep on shouting at that person, "Arey, just imitation, some glass stones he has given me." But when we understand that it is a diamond, then we really understand the magnanimity of that person who has given us that diamond. So before understanding who is and what is the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is very important. And all our acharyas have actually said in that way that we must first understand what did Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu give. Why do we have to worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Namo Mahavadanyaya, the most munificent, the most magnanimous avatar or incarnation of Krishna? So we need to first understand what is that gift that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. And Srila Prabhupada is speaking here the gift of his own example. It is said that one can give thousands of sermons, but one example, one action is better than 1,000 sermons. Krishna gave 5,000 years before Bhagavad Gita and the message of Bhagavad Gita, and for almost 4,500 years, no one was able to understand Bhagavad Gita. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he appeared, he first appeared as Nimai Pandit and he learned Sanskrit. And he practically he learned all the verbs, all the roots of Sanskrit, all the grammar of Sanskrit. But just like you may learn English, but you may not understand mathematics, physics, chemistry, just because you know English. Yes? Yes, imagine anyone wanting to join, all of your engineers, joining the engineering college and goes to the English tuition and says that just because I am learning English, I will crack IIT because I know the English, I know the questions, and I can solve the answers. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came down, he enacted his pastimes as Nimai Pandit just to tell everyone that if you know Sanskrit, you cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. It is just like someone trying to join the engineering institute or the coaching institute and learn English thinking that I will solve physics question. It's a science. And because it is a science, language is simply a medium. There is much beyond science. Science has much beyond language. People used to learn Sanskrit, learn the slokas, memorize the slokas, repeat the slokas without understanding the essence of the slokas. And Nimai Pandit, just to give an example to all of us, he memorized, like everyone in India that time, all the slokas. He was debating with everyone in Sanskrit. There was no debate in Navadvip in English. There was no debate in Bengali. There was no debate in any other language, but the debate was in Sanskrit. That was the foundation of all the debates. And Nimai Pandit would go and debate and debate and debate and defeat and defeat. People, when they would see Nimai Pandit going on that way, they will close their eyes and side their face and go in the other way, fearing that they would be defeated by the debate of Nimai Pandit. And Srimati Radharani came down as Gadadhar Pandit. He was friend of Nimai. And Gadadhar Pandit, he was not able to understand that why he is feeling so much of attraction to Nimai. He had no attraction of anyone and anything of this world. He was from birth completely detached Paramhamsa. He had no attachment to any relationship. But when he would see Nimai, he would think that I just want to be with him. And when Nimai would speak Sanskrit, Gadadhar Pandit would put his hand on his head, said, I just don't want to be with him. It was irresistible to be with Nimai, and it was intolerable to be with Nimai. Such a deadly combination. It was so difficult, just so difficult to really see the beauty of Nimai, and Gadadhar Pandit was not able to understand why I'm getting attracted. But when he will go and associate, Nimai will say Vyakaran, Sanskrit, verbal roots, dhatu. And Gadadhar Pandit would get so frustrated, and he would pray to Krishna, Oh Krishna, please make Nimai a devotee of Krishna. Gadadhar would pray to Krishna to make Krishna as devotee of Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit would think, Gadadhar, one day I will become such a devotee of Krishna that Brahma, Shiva, Yama, Indra, all the demigods would come and surrender to my lotus feet. And Gadadhar would feel so bad. Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. This is not the purpose of becoming a devotee of Krishna, and he will run away. And Gadadhar would silently, secretly pray to Gopinath that, oh Gopinath, please make Nimai a devotee. He has so much of opulence. He has so much of knowledge. He has so much of charisma and persona. The only thing that is missing in him is devotion. Everything else he has except devotion at your lotus feet. And he is so proud of the knowledge. He doesn't even know that this knowledge, this dry knowledge of Sanskrit, is going to be a graveyard, is actually the attachment to this material world. Like this, Gadadhar Pandit would pray silently, secretly. And Nimai Pandit, almost for many, many years, he used to keep on debating. He had a school, and so many students used to attend the school. He used to go to tours to Bangladesh. He was the most reputed teacher in entire India in Sanskrit. He knew everything about Sanskrit. One day, when Nimai Pandit was going with lot of his students, he saw one person coming from distance in Navadvip. And then he went away. And this person came to the house of Advaita Acharya. As all of you know, Advaita Acharya used to stay in Santipur, but when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, he shifted from Santipur to Navadvip. When he came to the house of Advaita Acharya, he sat down in front of his house, and so many devotees came to Advaita, said that there is a person who is so effulgent, who has all symptoms of a pure Mahabhagavat of the Lord. He is at your doorstep. Then Advaita Acharya went out and he saw this great person. He said, "Who are you? You are the epitome of Mahabhagavat." And this person replied that I am simply a low-born Sudra. I have nothing except material desires in my heart. And at that moment, Mukunda, he actually recited some verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. And when he heard the verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, this devotee, he started jumping and dancing in ecstasy and fainted. And Advaita Acharya immediately took the dust of his feet and took him inside his home. And they started loudly doing Sankirtan. And then this person got up. And everyone came to know that he is none other than Ishvara Puri. Harivo. And one day, Ishvara Puri took his residence in Navadvip in the house of Gopinath Acharya. We will discuss about him little later. Gopinath Acharya, in his house, Ishvara Puri used to stay, and he stayed quite a few days and months there. Every day Gadadhar Pandit would come. And Gadadhar Pandit's devotion, Ishvara Puri was so moved by the devotion of Gadadhar Pandit. He said, he picked up Gadadhar and put him on his lap and said, I want to teach you from my new book that I have written, Sri Krishna Leelamrit. And from that day on, every day, Gadadhar Pandit used to read Krishna Leelamrit from Ishvara Puri, studied. One day when Ishvara Puri was returning to the house of Gopinath Acharya, Nimai Pandit and some of his students came very near to Ishvara Puri. And Nimai Pandit immediately, he left all his students and he went to Ishvara Puri and touched his feet and took his dust of his lotus feet on his head. For the first time, all the students of Nimai saw something extraordinarily spectacular in Nimai. That Nimai, who used to even debate with all his teachers, whom all his teachers would get frustrated because he used to challenge them with so much of Sanskrit grammar questions. He is taking dust of the lotus feet of a mere devotee. And then Nimai Pandit, he folded his hands and begged to Ishvara Puri, "Oh great soul, please come to our house for a lunch." And he left all his students, and all his students were thinking, who is this great person? Nimai Pandit is the greatest of all the person. He knows everything. Who is this great person whom even Nimai Pandit puts his head down? And then Nimai Pandit took Ishvara Puri to his home, and he went inside the house and told Sachimata, "We are so fortunate. Our house is so fortunate. We are blessed today because our house is blessed with the dust of the lotus feet of a great Vaishnava." And Sachimata was shocked. This Nimai. And Nimai said to Sachi Devi, "Please make wonderful prasadam. We will serve this great soul prasadam." And Nimai Pandit, with his own hands, which Sachi Devi prepared a lot of items, he fed Ishvara Puri. And then he put chandan, he put garlands to Ishvara Puri, and then Ishvara Puri left. And Ishvara Puri was so attracted to Nimai Pandit. He was mesmerized like Gadadhar Pandit. And because he was so touched, when that evening he was talking with Gadadhar, he said, "I met a small boy today. I was so mesmerized." And immediately at that moment, Nimai Pandit came to the house of Gopinath Acharya and paid Dandavat to Ishvara Puri. And as Ishvara Puri was explaining Shri Krishna Lilamrit to Gadadhar Pandit, Nimai Pandit silently, attentively heard the explanations of Ishvara Puri. And for many days, Nimai Pandit would come every day in the evening to hear Ishvara Puri speak on Krishna Lilamrit. And Ishvara Puri came to know about Nimai Pandit. Just imagine, the greatest teacher has come to your house to hear. Nimai would never hear from anyone. He would only speak to everyone. Just imagine the news that would spread, that Nimai is attending a class and making notes. A personality has come from nowhere and made Nimai to attend the class every day without speaking a single word. This has not happened any time in Navadvip. Just imagine how great a news it would be. You cannot imagine because you didn't know what was Navadvip. It is just like the greatest scientist of NASA who has sent many rockets is coming and sitting here and hearing class by Acharya Ratna Prabhu. Big news! Interviewers and news reporters, everyone will come not to inquire the scientist, but to inquire from Acharya Ratna Prabhu. Who are you? Yes? This is just an example. That was the situation in Navadvip. Nimai Pandit, the greatest of Pandit, who used to always debate, who used to always defeat even the teachers and challenge anyone. is sitting silently, peacefully, in front of someone and hearing not Sanskrit, not grammar, some topics on Krishna. That is really amazing. And when the news spread like this, and when Ishvara Puri would go out and hear all those news, he actually understood the glory of his student. Oh my goodness. Ajanata. I was not knowing. And then, one day, after many days, Ishvara Puri said, Nimai, everyone in Navdeep is telling you are the greatest scholar of Sanskrit. Everyone is glorifying you. And I have written this new book, Sri Krishna Leelamrit. And it would be so nice if you can edit my book. And Nimai Pandit, just imagine, this is Nimai Pandit, folded his hands and said, there is no fault in the writing of a devotee of the Lord. No Sanskrit grammar can even find even the greatest authority of Sanskrit grammar can even find faults in any of the writing of a devotee, because it is faultless by the empowerment of Krishna. And if anyone finds fault in the writings of a devotee, he is simply a fool number one. And that is how I don't want to edit your book. And then Ishvara Puri didn't say anything. And next day again Nimai Pandit came to hear the classes. Again Ishvara Puri said, Nimai Pandit, I heard that you are a great Sanskrit scholar. Please edit my book. And after being pressed so much, Nimai Pandit took the manuscripts with him that evening. Whole night, Nimai Pandit studied each of the verse of Krishna Lilamrit very, very scrutinizingly. And next day in the evening, he came back and returned the manuscripts to Ishvara Puri and said, this is so amazing. And he glorified the writings of Ishvara Puri. And after glorifying all this, he said, but there is one place where I found a little Sanskrit grammatical mistake. And Ishvara Puri was very attentive to hear. Just imagine, this is Nimai Pandit telling about grammar mistake. That means it's really a mistake. And Ishvara Puri heard, yes. And Nimai Pandit said, you have used a Sanskrit verb, Atmani Padi. I don't know what is Atmani Padi, I don't know, but maybe present tense. But it should be used in Parasmai Padi, past particle, for example, in English, like that. You have used the verb in the wrong tense. And if you change this verse from Atmani Padi to Parasmai Padi, it will be, the entire Krishna Lilamrit will be faultless. And Ishvara Puri took that feedback and took that manuscript back, and Nimai Pandit paid his dandavat to Ishvara Puri and left for the evening. Whole night, Ishvara Puri studied all the scriptures, scrutinizingly. Next day, when Nimai Pandit came to the house of Ishvara Puri to hear the classes, Ishvara Puri said, Nimai, you are wrong. The verb that has to be placed here is not Parasmai Padi, it is Atmanai Padi. Just imagine, this is Nimai Pandit who has defeated case of Kashmiri, who has defeated all the Brahmanas, who has memorized all the Nyayas, who has memorized all the Sardarsanas, everything. And here is a devotee telling to Nimai Pandit that you are wrong in using the verb and the tense. I am right in using Atmanipadi. And then Ishvara Puri from all scriptures explained to Nimai Pandit how he was telling and he has written it correct and how Nimai Pandit is wrong. And Nimai Pandit said, Ki whatever you say is appropriate and Krishna accepts it because you are a pure devotee of Krishna. And he left the place. So, the first principle that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Bhagavad Gita he established that Bhagavad Gita cannot be understood by learning Sanskrit, by memorizing the verses, by repeating the verses, by knowing Sanskrit grammar. The first principle is, until and unless we surrender to a pure devotee of the Lord, the message of Bhagavad Gita remains obscure, eclipsed, like Rahu. Today also there is lunar eclipse in some parts of the world, eclipsing the right teachings. Bhagavad Gita is like sun and moon. But we cover ourselves just by thinking that by learning Sanskrit I can understand Bhagavad Gita. So the first principle to understand Bhagavad Gita is tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has explained here in the purport by Srila Prabhupada that Krishna gave Bhagavad Gita, Sri Chaitanya came to explain, to exemplify how to understand Gita. And how to understand Gita? Not by memorizing the verses, not by learning Sanskrit. Like I go to so many places to give classes, or just to say an example from Srila Prabhupada's life. There was one person who came to Srila Prabhupada. It's there in one Srila Prabhupada's disciples' writings. He came, I think, Burijan Prabhu in Surrender Unto Me, he says. There is a book, Surrender Unto Me. So in that book, in the introduction, he says this, I remember now. So he says that one person came to Srila Prabhupada and he said, Swamiji, I have memorized all the verses of Bhagavad Gita. I can recite all the verses in different meters. And Srila Prabhupada said, can you leave even one verse of Bhagavad Gita in your life? So we must understand that first thing that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right from the beginning of his Nimai Leela, as a scholar, he established that being a scholar is actually a disqualification to understand Gita. Some of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada would pronounce the verses of Gita in very different terminologies, different ways. And some Indian devotees, Indian people, devotees and local people would say, Swamiji, their pronunciation is so bad. And Srila Prabhupada would say, their renunciation is so good. Srila Prabhupada ki. Srila Prabhupada is a true follower of Lord Chaitanya. He saw the essence of Bhagavad Gita. We cannot understand Bhagavad Gita by learning Sanskrit, by pronouncing Bhagavad Gita nicely, by understanding every chanda, every meter, dividing all the words of Bhagavad Gita. Right? If you go to some scholars, the way they would divide and decide the verses of Bhagavad Gita, so mesmerizing sometimes. You just can put your hand on your mouth and say, wow, I never thought about it. And it's good that we never thought like that. And that's how we are here. Nimai Pandit thought in many ways like that. And he was ready to relinquish all his thoughts in front of the explanation of a pure devotee of the Lord. This is the message, the first message that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exemplified. That you, if you want to understand Bhagavad Gita, as it is said here, first we have to relinquish what we think Bhagavad Gita is. Then we will be able to understand what Bhagavad Gita is as it is by Krishna. And as later on, as all of you know the pastimes, this is the first principle. But then, many people, they understand it. They surrender to Guru. But just surrendering to a Guru, tad vidhi pranipatena, upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Just by surrendering to a tattvadarshi, who is knowing about the tattva, is not the goal of Bhagavad Gita. Even if Nimai Pandit surrendered to Ishvara Puri, his intelligence, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, beyond that, he wanted to establish, exemplify a higher principle, which he did in the later part of his pastime. When Jagannath Mitra passed away, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with many of his students, he went to Gaya to offer Pinda to his forefathers and to his father. On the way, Nimai Pandit, who is still Nimai Pandit, who was a great scholar, he contracted a very, very severe fever. And all the students of Nimai, they were thinking, it may so happen that our teacher will pass away. That time there was nothing like going to some Vaidya, and they found so many Vaidyas, they brought so many medicines, nothing happened. Finally, the students of Nimai, they fell at the feet of Nimai and said, Nimai, we just can't live without you. Please tell me how you can be cured. Because you are our teacher. And Nimai said, go find out a devotee of the Lord. Take the dust of his feet. Take his lotus feet and dip it in water. Bring that water as charanamrit to me. When I drink that water washing the feet of a devotee, I will get relieved of all my fever. Shri Nimai Pandit ki. Now Nimai Pandit has become a real Pandit. We will see how the transformation of Pandit will happen. And sorry. So then all the students, they started searching and searching and searching and searching. And they finally found a devotee. And he said, our teacher is very, very sick. Our teacher is sick. What do you want? I'm not a doctor. Please give your lotus feet. And then they took one pot of water and they washed his feet, took the charanamrit and brought it to Nimai. And Nimai drank and said, Now I am relieved of all my fever and I am relieved of all the tribulations of this material world. In front of his students who had such high pedestal about knowledge, jnana, Nimai Pandit exemplified that bhakti is superior to jnana, and jnana without bhakti is simply increases the fever of material existence. If jnana, if knowledge has no bhakti, even if we may surrender to a tattvadarshi, even if we know the entire tattva, everything about scriptures, we may know the grammar and we may know what the scriptures are telling. But if we do not have any devotion, if we are not blessed by the mercy of a devotee, that same knowledge will simply increase the fever of our material existence. And all the students, he didn't explain like that. All the students, they saw the example. Oh, Nimai Pandit, the greatest Sanskrit scholar, he got cured by Charanamrit of a devotee. Bhakta Pada Jala Ar Bhakta Bhukta Avases. Bhakta Pad Dhuli Ar Bhakta Pada Jal. Bhakta Bhukta Avases 18 Mahabal. These three are greatest strength of a devotee, of a sadhaka. Bhakta Pad Dhuli, the dust of the feet of a devotee. Bhakta Pada Jal, the water that has washed the feet of a devotee. Bhakta Bhukta Avases, the remnants that has come out from the mouth of a devotee. 18 Mahabal. These are the greatest strength of his sadhaka to perform devotional service. And Nimai Pandit goes to Gaya, and in the Vishnupad temple, he offers his oblations, and then Nimai Pandit is doing, one day he was cooking in Gaya. And on that day, very interestingly, suddenly Ishvara appeared. And when Ishvara appeared, Nimai Pandit immediately went and paid Dandavat and invited Ishvara for the lunch. And personally, he made Ishvara sat down and he started feeding Ishvara nicely. So many items he was feeding. And Lakshmi was thinking, my Lord is feeding his Guru. What he will eat? And Nimai was feeding and Ishvara was taking, and Mother Lakshmi came personally to prepare more and more prasadam so that Lord can serve Ishvara nicely. And once the prasadam got over, Lord put chandan, put garland to Ishvara and fell at the feet of Ishvara and said, I am a simple wretched soul. I do not have any devotion to Krishna. Please initiate me and save my life. And then Ishvara was so pleased with the humility of Nimai Pandit, he initiated Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then only Lord initiated the Sankirtan movement. Shri Shri Ishvara ki, Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki. As soon as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he got initiated, immediately he left all his Sanskrit. That is what we should do after initiation. We can do our job and everything, but if you really want to follow in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, initiation means initiation to give up everything from the material world. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu jumped and he started crying. He forgot all the Sanskrit. All his students were wondering what happened to our teacher. He's crying now. Who will teach us Sanskrit? And they asked some questions. And they asked, what is this dhatu? And Lord Chaitanya said, the all dhatus culminate at the lotus feet of Krishna. And then he started jumping and dancing, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started running towards Vrindavan, crying in ecstasy. And then a prediction came from the top and said, "Ki now it is not the time to go to Mathura. When the right time will come, you will be instructed when to go to Mathura. Please go back and perform your duties." This is nice. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came back with his students to Navadvip. But now Lord Chaitanya is a different person. He was crying. He was jumping. He was dancing. He was raising high in the air and just release himself, and he would dash into the ground. And when Mother Sachi saw this, she was so concerned. What happened to my Nimai? Which ghost has entered in his body? What is this disease? She arranged so many tail and oil and massage and everything. Nothing was curing Nimai. And Nimai would say, "Mother, I wasted my entire life in studying Sanskrit. I wasted my entire life. How will I get Krishna?" And Sachi Devi was wondering what happened. What happened? And she was very, very concerned. And Sachi Devi called Mukunda. And Mukunda and Sripati, who is brother of Srivas Thakur. And both of them, they came. And they came to the house. And Sachi Devi said, "Please save my son. What has happened? What ghost has entered him? I have called so many ojas. I have called so many vaidyas. I have personally massaged so much of oil. Nothing is happening." He is crying and crying and crying. And Mukunda, Lord Chaitanya came to Mukunda and said, "Mukunda, where I will get Krishna in life? Please tell me where to find Krishna, Mukunda. I wasted my life." And Mukunda Dutt from within, Sripati from within said, "Now Nimai Pandit has reached perfection of his life." They said to Sachi Devi, "Oh Mother, please bless us that we also get this disease that your Nimai has got. Please bless us that the same ghost that has entered the body of your Nimai enters all of our body. Then we would consider our life successful." And Sripati was so happy, so happy. He immediately went and informed Srivas. Actually, he didn't inform Srivas. I messed it up. And then it was late in the evening, and then they went and took rest. And next day in the morning, they were plucking flowers. And there was such a big smile in the face of Sripati. And all the people, those who knew that Nimai has become like this, they were all smiling. And Srivas was asking, "What is the reason of your smile?" I think something extraordinary has happened in Navadvip. Shripati said, our Nimai has become a Vaishnava. And Srivas jumped and danced. May the family of Vaishnavas increase. If Nimai has become a devotee, you will see one day the entire world will flood in devotional service. Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki. And the way Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he exemplified the essence of devotional service in his life is unimaginable. What began as Sankirtan in Srivas Angan, it ended up in experiencing the highest ecstasy of Vipralamba Bhav of Srimati Radharani in the Gambhira along with Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai. So this is the first principle that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established. That if we want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we need to first approach a guru, become humble. Vidya Binaya Sampanne. Bhagavad Gita completes only with Binaya. And we may have humility in front of so many of the teachers, but if our teacher is not a pure devotee like Ishvara Puri, or he doesn't know the essence of devotional service and following the Guru Parampara, that devotion will not awaken in our heart. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. We may know the tattva, but the real tattva of Bhagavad Gita can only be understood not by surrendering to any guru, but by surrendering to Krishna Tattva Beta Sei Guru Hoy. This is the second principle established by Lord Chaitanya, that devotion can only help us